Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and today we are doing another review, another new show, The Real Housewives of Potomac, season 8, episode 1, and the name of this particular episode is called Projection and Deflection. And child, the title fits what it is. So we first start with the season trailer, and for those who aren't familiar, they did this little fun trailer. It was cute. It was different from the other Housewives shows. They kind of did like a sitcom, a spoof of a sitcom, going over how the season's going to be for this year. And so they showed that. Also, by the way, before we go into this, I'll just say this right now. Out of all, so far, I'm watching a total of 4 Housewives, and 3 out of the 4 I'm reviewing. I'll be honest. This first episode is the season premiere. It didn't give what I thought it was going to give. So I'm going to zhuzh it up. I'm going to try to make it seem like it gave more than what it gave, but that's just a warning right now. And also, if you're annoyed with how long my other videos have been so far, no worries. This is not going to be as long. I'm not even going to hold you. It was not a super, it wasn't a super start it wasn't a super episode. And what I mean by super episodes, like The Real Housewives of Miami, that review was so long. It was really long, not because it is partially because I really love that franchise, but it was also because it was a longer season premiere. The show was like 75 minutes long. And then this was only 54 minutes. So it really didn't give much. And part of it was the trailer. So that's just to give you a little bit of a heads up for that. I'm hoping the season gets ramped up, but it didn't take much for me to watch it. My notes are not even as long as they normally are. That's just what it is. I'm hoping it's not just because of a case of the Mondays. I'm kind of hoping that's what it is, and it's not that this is not going to be a good season. But anyway, let's get into it then. So actually, it starts with them kind of giving a flashback of the season from before, where Robin is talking, because it's before they got remarried, because I'm doing this because I don't know if they're really remarried or not. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave it alone for now. But so they go back from last season, and they show Robin talking about infidelity clause to the prenup, and Juan basically reassures her, "Don't worry about that. You don't need that." And so then from there, they show them getting remarried, which, by the way, that was not filmed. She just put that in towards the end, which is kind of part of why a lot of the cast of the show has an issue with Robin this season. And that's kind of maybe why I didn't really care for this episode. This was kind of a Robin heavy episode, and I kind of find Robin boring. But maybe that's just me. Unpopular opinion, maybe popular opinion. Anyway, so I'm going to continue here. And then they show all the rumors that have surfaced. So there's been rumors that's taken place that did not get addressed until after the reunion was filmed. So the reunion happened, right? And Robin had this going on the whole entire time, and no one knew about it until she made the fatal mistake of presenting a situation that happened with Juan paying for a hotel room for some girl in Canada. And the story sounds outlandish because it probably is. According to Robin, Juan didn't do anything wrong other just being kind of stupid and being thirsty, but he didn't actually cheat on her. And so that came out after the reunion, And it was because she brought it up on her podcast, because her and Giselle have a podcast, and called Reasonably Shady or something like that. And the thing that made it so bad was they tried to put this details in a paywall, when really she had a whole entire season of a reality show where she's supposed to be sharing her life that she neglected to tell people about. And so instead, they focus on butting their business into other people's lives on the show. And so, yeah. Anyway, so besides that, shortly after the hotel fiasco came out, then they show Juan with another woman at the laundromat. And it's just basically been snowballing. And then when asked about it, and after it got presented in the public outrage of her just withholding all this information, she appears. There's two things that happened. They added like a little special at the, well, technically one thing that happened. They added a special at the end of the reunion, which really was her on Watch What Happens Live, at the end of the reunion. Because even though the reunion was filmed ahead of time, all this news came out the week that the reunion was supposed to be airing. So there was time for Andy Cohen to, pull her into like Watch What Happens Live to get explanation of why she withheld this information, why she thought we should pay for information when she's on a reality TV show that's about her life. It was a whole thing. So they show a little bit of the clip. They show the Watch What Happens Live clip a lot. And so as they're talking, as they're showing all this happening, there's Karen, basically Giselle, Karen, and Ashley are just providing their commentary in their confessionals of all this and how they're just like, Ashley's on, it's not really on anyone's side. She's just like saying this doesn't look good. This looks kind of questionable as far as like what Juan's doing to Robin. And then Karen's just kind of like, annoyed with Robin for basically presenting like her, everything is together. Because she just got remarried. And that's another thing. Remarried. She was married to this man before, and he cheated on her before. Because he's a former NBA player. But she got remarried without an infidelity prenup clause. So that's kind of, I just kind of wanted to give you a little history for those who might be new to watching this. So now you're caught up. Anyway, so they pan over to Robin and Juan in the current day at their house, talking about all these things, about everything that I just mentioned right here. And basically, she's annoyed that people ran with the rumors. She's basically blamed, in Robin's delusional mind, she's thinking it's us against the world. By us, her and Juan against the world. And Juan is still sticking with the stories that he said. He was like, that was dumb. I was just trying to be nice. This, that, and this, and that. And he just is screaming like, it's screaming scumbag. It's like, yo. Like, Robin's the only one that believes this story. And Robin's justification is the story's so crazy he wouldn't be this dumb to make something like this up. So she believes him because the story is so crazy. Yeah. And then she talks about the incident with the laundromat and then also him losing his job, because he also lost his job because not as an NBA player. He's been retired from the NBA. He's actually was a college basketball coach, but their record for the college was horrible. He did not turn the basketball program around at all, and so they fired him. But there also was an accusation / lawsuit with him and the school about one of the former students not being handled properly. We'll just say that. We're not going to go in detail that because that's not really what this episode's about. But so her life's kind of a mess right now. because she's dealing with that, and she's still married to this man, allegedly, and all this, you know, drama of him not cheating, allegedly. I'm gonna use allegedly because I don't want the problems. So yeah, as you can tell, as I'm explaining this, I kind of don't really believe that he didn't cheat, because it doesn't, the math's not mathing. Like, why would you pay for a hotel but not go to the said hotel? And his excuse was, did you see what she looked like? I was like, oh, so you're saying you're a nice guy, but then you just insult someone in the same conversation. Are you really a nice guy then? I mean, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck. Anyway. Anyway, so next we go to Karen, and Karen is at a restaurant. It looks like the restaurant is in DC, like actually in DC proper. And let me know, anyone who's watching this, if you're from that area, let me know if that restaurant's in the DC area. It didn't look like it was in Potomac. It looks like it was in DC because they're showing backgrounds of them being in DC. So I thought it was in DC, but anyway. So Karen is meeting up with Candace and Wendy for drinks. And they're reflecting on the reunion, and basically how all of them have issues with how Robin handled things. Because they're mad at Robin. They're not mad at Juan. They're mad at Robin and how she handled things. And the main reason why they're mad at Robin and how she handled things is because Robin, even though she had all the skeletons in her closet happening, like as they're filming, because all this was happening during the season, by the way, she is basically focusing on what's going on with Karen's relationship, marriage, or in the words of the Grand Dame, her institution, and also was concerned with what was going on. Well, she appeared to be an ally towards Candace when it came to Giselle attacking her relationship with her husband, but Candace is questioning why she did that. Candace and a lot of us think that Robin was basically playing good cop while Giselle was playing bad cop. That way it still is deflecting from her business, so no one's asking about what's going on with her. And then Karen even mentioned in the conversation, like, hey, she even stated in Watch What Happens Live that she was waiting for me to say something about what's going on with her relationship instead of her just bringing it up. And that's not how reality TV works at all. Like, you shouldn't wait for someone to bring it up. Like, it's your life. You should share your own life, right? Anyway. And Wendy is, on the same side as them, because Wendy and Robin, for whatever reason, it's more of a Robin thing, doesn't see it for Wendy, and as a result, Wendy doesn't see it for Robin. And it's just a beef that is so petty, so ridiculous. I don't even know the reason for it, to be honest with you. And I've watched this franchise. This is my third season watching it. I basically started watching it the season after Wendy joined. So when Wendy got happiness, that's when I started watching. So I did not see the, I did go back to watch, but I didn't watch originally any of the episodes prior to Monique exiting, because I think that was the season that actually where Wendy joined Housewives of the Real Housewives of Potomac was when the whole Monique incident happened. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to give you a backstory on that. So, but that's pretty much how that scene ended. There was not much to it. Oh, by the way, they all look fabulous though. And I mean, they all looked good. Good. Yeah, I'm hoping I'm going to try my best to like be neutral, but I love me some Karen. I love me some Wendy, and I love me some Candace. So None of that slander over here. I'm just saying. But I'm hoping the more I watch this, I'm not going to be overly biased. So, anyway. All right. So, the next scene, we pan over to Ashley, and she is just, we're seeing her new home. She has like this little, so she's in the house now that she had Michael buy or put a down payment for or whatever. And she calls it Seaside in the City. It's actually really cute, nice and airy looking. It's a 4-bedroom, 5-bathroom house. I kind of, because I'm, again, into the real estate, I kind of wish that we would have saw more of the house, but that's pretty much all she had going on there. She's kind of basically saying she's a single mom now with a nanny. And Michael's name is on the mortgage still, even though they're supposed to be getting this divorce. And he put the down payment down for the house and assisted with the child support. He's paying child support because currently, and we find this out when Giselle FaceTimes Ashley. So Giselle FaceTimes Ashley and they're just talking about all that stuff. And so she's just kind of like, so did you get anything from Michael? Because they pan back to the reunion where Ashley, she fumbled the bag, basically. So initially, and everyone kind of somewhat knew this, and this, let me get you caught up to speed a little bit here. Michael is not the most attractive guy. He's an older, rich, really rich dude that's of the non-melanin variety. So read between the lines, you're thinking, she probably married him for a reason, right? Allegedly. So this prenup was supposed to be this really, really good prenup where if she stuck it out, according to her, she was supposed to stick it out for 7 years and then do certain things when it comes to having kids or whatever. And then she was supposed to get a payday. And no, that didn't happen that way because I think he probably had lawyers rewrite it or something. I don't know. So she did not get her payday that she thought she was going to get. And there's speculation that's the reason why she was getting divorced from him, because the timing of it, of when she was getting this divorce, was literally that time frame. And now she herself admits on this in her confessional that she is dragging her feet and getting a divorce because he's still like supporting her or whatever. So yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much all that was about. It was kind of nothing. So next we see Giselle's hanging out with this Jason, who's from this show that's also on Bravo called Winter House. I've never seen this show before ever, so I don't know who this guy really is. He is cute though. He looks like he's actually more my age. I think he is probably. And apparently he's 16 years younger than Giselle. So Giselle's being like she's being a cougar. And so they explain that he lives in New York right now and they see each other every other week. And so he's cooking dinner for her. He's making sushi. And I don't know if I believe the relationship or not. It's Giselle. So anymore. And I hate them like this, but I just don't believe relationships that seem like they're convenient for both of you. Because I don't know who this guy is outside of like this show. And no offense, I'm not going to start watching Winter House because of this either. But I know a lot of people know who Giselle is. So who knows? But anyway. Grace, so she also shares, besides, her having the situationship, as she calls it herself, that the twins are getting ready to go to college. And so she's like kind of having a little bit of empty nest syndrome, which that part of Giselle I am looking forward. I actually want to see that because I want to see Giselle be like, I don't know, like real. Like, I like when Giselle's with her children. I don't really like Giselle when she does all the other stuff, but I like Giselle when she's with her kids. So I am looking, hopefully this season we see more of that. That's just how I'm getting at. Along with her mentioning that she shared before they were on their way to college, they went to Dubai. And just had them a blast, and they just showed pictures of them in Dubai, and I guess they just got back from Dubai. And Grace is talking about Jason, how she feels about him in the confessional. So she's in the confessional with her mom, and when I tell you, Grace, you got that. I feel like she would make such a good housewife. I would love to see one of the housewife kids become a housewife. I would love if Grace could become the first, because she's so witty and she throws the best shade at her own mom, but not in a bad way. It's very friendly, very nice bantery type thing, and she's gorgeous. So anyway, she's basically rating Jason on how he's doing as far as like making her mom happy and all that, and it's making it seem more believable because Grace is talking about it, but I'm still like, I don't know. But she's currently giving, she's like, I give him like A minus. He's not quite there for an A yet, but he's getting there. And so it shows this little cute quick scene where she's, basically they just talk about that and they're cooking. And that's pretty much it there. So the next scene here. Yeah. Apparently she just got home from the carpool, and she's not in the house she was in before. The house that she was in before was a rental, and it was 15,000 square feet or 10,000 square foot, and now they're back in like a 1,500 square foot penthouse with her and the kids. It's her, Gordon, and the kids. And Mia's discussing with Gordon about them being voted out of the company, because Gordon was voted out of the company by her family, so in turn she was too, because she's married to Gordon. And they're talking about the business change and the finance changes, and like she talks about how she's cutting back on hard liquor, and kind of blames that for her conflict that she had with Karen. I don't know if I believe that or not. I think she's kind of messy, but we'll see. We'll see how that progresses. And so she's saying she's just going to stick with wine. But you see her interaction with Gordon is kind of cringy, to be honest, because Gordon seems like he's being very genuine. And he's like, yeah, like, it's a lot that we had to, like, you know, make changes to our finances. And they had to bounce back really quickly because they went from having multiple joint practices, chiropractic franchises, to like now they don't got them anymore. So they had to, on the fly, make adjustments. And now they're apparently, and this was actually shared in the reunion that this happened. And Mia mentioned that they're living off their savings in the reunion. So now we're just kind of seeing the aftermath of it right now in this current scene. But that was pretty much all that the scene gave. It was just a quick little catch up, but also you kind of seeing a little bit of like a, I don't know, Gordon and her just seem not, it seems like now that the money's gone, she's gone. I'll be honest. Allegedly. Allegedly. Anyway, so we move on to Candace and Chris. And Candace! Yes. Candace and Chris. Okay. I'm sorry. Y'all can tell I'm a little biased. I do love me some Candace. Candace Dillard Bassett. But anyway, so she's walking to the park. They're walking to the park, and then Chris set up a nice little picnic. And they're reflecting on all the drama that happened last year. So last year, as I kind of mentioned a little bit before, Giselle took it upon herself to make what's going on with, she basically attacked Chris and Candace's marriage and made it a storyline for herself, because typically Giselle doesn't normally have a storyline. This is kind of her season where she's trying to pretend that she has one. We'll see how long that lasts. Okay, I'm shady. I'm sorry. Sorry. Anyway, so they're talking about the drama, and then we learn, and this is this is, to me, I'll be honest, this is probably one of the more interesting scenes of the whole entire show. Candace is talking about, because, oh, for those who don't know, Candace is doing music. And I mean, her songs are good. I don't have the whole entire album of Deep Space. She has Deep Space Deluxe too, so check that out if you are a fan of nice R&B. But she does R&B. And my favorite song from her is Insecure with her and Trina. I love that song. Every once in a while, I put on that song and clean around my house. So Candace, keep doing your thing. But anyway, she is talking about her experience in doing music right now because she is signed to a label, but she just recently kind of got signed to the label like last season. Before, she was just, everything was out of pocket. And she's discussing like how much she gets assistance with marketing through her label, but when it comes to putting together the tour, that's still mainly her money. So I don't know what her record deal is, but it seems like it's not one where you get all these advances. And also too, she's smart and she has her own coin. She probably doesn't want to use all the record money's advances because you have to pay that back. So it's still not worth doing that. But anyway, she mentions that she pretty much has almost spent 6 figures going on tour last year. And that her having her little band alone was $15,000. And her tours weren't big tours. They're at like City Winery. Like she was here in the city. Like I don't remember when it was last year, but I actually was thinking about going to see her at City Winery because I do love that venue. It's a very nice, intimate venue. But she basically kind of did like a small, intimate venue tour. But she said it still wasn't cheap, you know, hair, makeup, and everything else. And she was just naming her professional, and you just saw all the different graphics, which I do appreciate that they did that, of all the different things that she was paying for this tour. And from the way it sounds like she is not making a profit from touring yet. She's actually she's paying for the investment of a good tour so that hopefully she gets a return the next time around she does a tour. And then that's when the touring money will start to come in. It'll make sense. Hopefully, I'm hoping we get more of that as far as understanding that and what all goes into her making this transition. And I would love also, side note, and I hope they do this, she also acts. She's an actress too. She started doing that too. She's one of the few housewives that has paralleled. She's used this platform to like help her go and do other things. I want to see more of that with her. We hear more about the music stuff, but I want to see her going to like a movie set. Like I want to see those type of things. I don't know if they can't show it for whatever reason. Like budget-wise, it can't pay for that to show that type thing. Because I think where she acts as a different network, I don't know. But hopefully we're able to see more of that, and I'll be really interested and we'll love to see that. But that's pretty much concludes that scene. Okay, so the final scene, we have Giselle doing this get together. And I forgot to mention earlier, Giselle, when she was talking to Ashley, was mentioning how she wanted to get her and Ashley together to speak to Robin, to basically do a friend invention. And whenever you hear the word friend invention, you know that never works, right? Like, and Giselle being messy is messy. She's still gonna try to do it anyway. But the difference is, this does seem like is Giselle actually being herself and not being like her, you know, reality TV star self. She's trying to resolve things. It seems. It seems. Anyway, so Charisse makes her appearance. And Charisse is an old G. She's actually the person who put this group together and helped discover it. She's kind of the Nene Leakes of without the personality. She ain't got the personality. I'll just say that. Her personality is kind of it's lacking. It's lacking big time. But as far as getting the girls together, she's like the Mimi Leaks of like Potomac. For those who are Real Housewives of Miami, not Miami, Atlanta fans. Y'all know what that means. So, but Charisse is there, and then Ashley appears next, prior to Robin getting there, and they're basically talking about, okay, what's the strategy, how we're gonna, and they're basically talking things through on what they think is going on with Robin before Robin gets there, and what the intentions are of this meeting. And it's try to talk some sense into Robin, because she looks crazy based upon all the stories that are being told, and she's just kind of just believing her husband. She's like, my man, my man, my man. But she doesn't look happy about it. You know, it's not like she's like, I'm gonna stick beside him. She ain't like that. She's more like, yeah, I don't care. And maybe that's why I don't really care for this episode, because Robin is just so... I'm gonna leave it alone. Anyway, so well, before we get into that, Ashley does, when Ashley is getting there, she is shading Giselle's house in the confessional for obvious reasons. For those who are new to Real Housewives of Potomac, Giselle's house is a hot mess. Just like Giselle's fashions, her interior, this decorating ain't given what needs to be gave. Her house looks like Legos, like it's just not. And she thinks it looks fabulous, but it don't look right. So they're all walking down, so they're meeting outside, like on her patio or porch, her back porch, and they have to walk down to go into, you know, where the porch is at. And I'm going to cut ahead a little bit and I'll go back. Robin, when she appears, she's like doing like a little duck walk, like a stilt walk. It looked about as bad as I looked when I was trying to wear heels recently after breaking my toe at a wedding. It looked like a hot mess. It was like that. But only these women all wear heels all the time. And it was because it was like a hill going down to the lower patio instead of stairs. Because really, stairs need to be there. And like Robin said, stairs should really be here. You shouldn't have it as like a hill. You really should have stairs here. Because that's dumb. Like, why don't you have stairs? And then also stairs with the rail. Because, yeah, I was like, man, if any of these women bust their ankle, they can sue her. And it's on tape. That's how bad it looked. But anyway... So after them all looking like a hot mess entering the scene, I mean, my Charisse was already there and Giselle already being there. They get right into it. They don't waste any time. This is when Robin finally gets there. And they discuss all the headlines with her. Robin gets defensive. She's like, and still continues to defend him. And she's like, you know, I know it was dumb that he got caught up and like paid for that woman's hotel room, but he didn't stay there and he did not cheat. She still is sticking by this story that that's what it is, but it's like, lady, we know that's not, like, it doesn't even make sense. And then then they mention, well, what about the laundromat incident? She's like, and then she says, I actually know her. That's one of the coaches he works with, and it's completely normal for them to do laundry together. They're like basically cleaning like the supplies for the university, because apparently the other woman was like another coach, and so she's like, I know her. Like, that was not an issue. And then Ashley and Charisse and even like Giselle, they're all just saying like, well, don't you think that maybe after the hotel incident happened, he should have laid low and not be caught with another woman again shortly after? And she was like, yeah, I told him the block was hot, but what am I supposed to do? He didn't listen, whatever. Like, she's just like, whatever, like, just, Okay. And so instead of like, you know, basically saying, hey, Juan shouldn't have done this, and blaming Juan for this whirlwind of rumors and all that that's happened, she instead is just saying, all these people with the rumors, they stole my joy. I'm just not happy. Because there's like, because then they finally come to her as, you know, as their friend, as her friends, and it's like, but you don't look happy. We're coming to you because you don't seem happy. And she's like, well, they stole my joy. Juan didn't steal her joy. They did. Juan's actions had nothing to do with it, according to her. So she thinks that, and she basically refuses to acknowledge that Juan is the common denominator. That a lot of her conflict seems to come from Juan. And let me pan back to the first scene that of her and Juan together. And I'm sure you probably have heard, if those who have seen the Real Housewives of Potomac before, and I hate to say this, but like, Juan and her they don't give like romantic partner energy. And they really never have. And I don't want to judge, but I kind of am judging, clearly. But it just seems like the chemistry between them is very like, hey, like, you know, fist pump. I don't know. So it's just, if that's what it is, then just say it, I guess. And that's what I think a lot of people, including me, find super annoying about Robin is, if you have an arrangement with this man and that's what it is, and just say you have an arrangement and keep it pushing. This is 2023. No one cares. You know? I mean, it's your relationship's your relationship, but to pretend that your relationship is perfect and present one way when it's very obvious it's not that way, that's what everyone's frustration is. And I don't know why she doesn't understand that. And I'm sure she would even like say like, well, you shouldn't be in my relationship. But it's like, friend, you're on a reality TV show. And it's called The Real Housewives. It literally is a show about your relationship and you being a housewife. That's part of the gig, you know? And so it's just kind of one of those things, like, you can't just kind of be in this. You either need to be in it or not, or become a friend of. That way people don't have to be all up in your business. Pull a Mary Cosby. Like Mary Cosby from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and I know I keep mentioning that franchise, but that's because it's been good so far. I've enjoyed every single episode so far. She literally is in every single episode she's a friend of. And we do not have to go into her business. So you still will get just as much time on the TV. You probably don't get paid as well, but because your legacy, I'm sure you get a decent coin. I'm pretty sure Charisse gets paid a decent coin, and she's your friend, so you can talk to her, figure out how much she gets paid. Even though we know Charisse is trying to become full-time again, but friend, that time has passed. Anyway, I digress. So as they're trying to reason with her, Charisse, which I never thought I would be on the side of her, she actually opens up and actually shows her personality a little bit. And I kind of was like, man, I would love to see more of this Charisse, because she's reasoning with her and she starts crying. She's like, I'm not saying your situation is like mine, but like I literally went through all of this. All this is familiar. Because for those who don't know, Charisse, the OG of the show, her husband was also a former basketball player. That's actually how her and Robin became friends. And he was cheating her, dogging her out, everything else. And Charisse was living off a delusion. She was just sticking beside him until it blew up in her face in the worst way. He said, I don't love you. But the thing is, she was in that loveless marriage, and he said actually that he didn't love her probably 7 years before they got a divorce. So she stayed in that loveless marriage for years and basically made herself just miserable, along with making him miserable, and just wasted time. And Charisse is just like saying, like, look, you don't want to do what I did. You don't want to do that, you know? And she started breaking down crying. She's like, I really do care about you. You don't want to do that. And then Ashley even opened up about her situation. She's like, you know, Michael wasn't faithful, which, by the way, I was like, Ashley rarely points out Michael's faults on this show. She always protects him. And this is probably one of the first episodes in a long time where because she actually was she was being real. Because to me, this is the only scene that I've ever seen of these people being real. Because, okay, Ashley, Giselle, and even Charisse, they typically focus on other people's drama to deflect from their own. And they're kind of doing it a little bit now, but it's not the same as how they do it with people they don't like. Because normally they're doing it in a shady, messed up way. This came off as they were truly consoling her and not trying to be messy. So they actually shared parts of themselves trying to reason with her. Like even Giselle mentioned her situation. She's like, look, we're coming to you as women who have been through this. Don't waste your years on a dead end. When the moment has passed, the moment has passed. And I think they even went into the fact, like, we know you remarried him, but, you know, it's still not too late. That's pretty much the gist of what they were saying there. And I guess I will say I enjoy this scene from this cast here. Because typically, I don't really care for Ashley typically. I don't really care for Giselle typically. Charisse, she normally gives nothing to me. But this was like one of the first scenes I was like, oh wow, okay. So it was really just this scene and the scene with Candace where I feel like we got anything other than just like rinse and repeat, nothing. Everything else so far has come off as fluff to me. Like, I don't care. It could have just not been an episode. So really, to me, this episode could have been a total of like 10 minutes and then that would have been it. It didn't need to be the whole 54 minutes. I'm just saying. So, all three of them, so Charisse has a confessional. Okay. They're really trying to make her full-time, I could tell. But Charisse, Giselle, and Ashley, each in their individual confessionals say, hey, we don't believe anything Juan is saying. Juan is clearly lying, but we're basically here for Robin, you know. And Giselle's like, it only matters if Robin believes it, and she does. And then Charisse is like, they've all came to a conclusion she's being delusional. She's just ignoring the red flags that are everywhere. But anyway, that does conclude the Real Housewives of Potomac. And I'm sorry if I sound like Debbie Downer with this episode, but I'll be honest, I was expecting more, and I don't want to like lie to y'all and say like, oh my gosh, it was the best episode ever. You know, with Bravo literally pushing out content, like all the content, there's a total of 4 Real Housewives shows on right now. It's just kind of like, I wanted this one out of all the franchise to come correct, because it's one of the few, besides Real Housewives of Atlanta, Real Housewives of Potomac is an all-black cast. And so I really wanted them to bring it, but I can't pretend they did. So hopefully episode 2 will be better. And hopefully the rest of the season will be better. Maybe this is just the calm before the storm. And maybe I hyped it up too high in my head of expectations of what I was wanting. Because I'll be honest, I didn't have expectations for Beverly Hills. I did have expectations for Miami and gave what needed to give. I didn't have any expectations for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I actually wasn't even sure if I was going to watch it or not. And now I'm invested. So depending on how that continues to go, I might end up reviewing Real Housewives of Salt Lake City next season if it continues the momentum it's going, because it seems like this is a season that franchise has finally found its footing. But this one is just kind of like, it's the same producers as Real Housewives of Atlanta currently. And for those who have been paying attention, Atlanta has not been giving. And unfortunately, they might be in the middle of a reboot as a result of. And it's like, it's not just a cast issue. Maybe it's a production company issue. But anyway, I'm going off a tangent, but that does conclude the video. As I mentioned, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and I will see you next time. By the way, do y'all like my chair? I like this chair. This is my chair that I use that I replaced for like my office, and I think I'm gonna use this chair for like videos in the future. I'm just saying, more to come. Anyway, bye.